Hey guys, Ash here in Raid Shadow Legends. Welcome to the video. Sending some love, some positive vibes your way, especially if you're going through something and you need it out there today. Today we have a free legendary champion for everybody as part of Community Month in Raid Shadow Legends. I actually have a video going live maybe in a day or two talking about what Community Month should have been. Not a rant or like super negative video, but I think I'm a little biased, but I think I have some great ideas. Hopefully they'll pick up on some of those. Most importantly, as I said in yesterday's video, I mean a whole video talking about this, do not please Plarium. We got 1 day, 5 hours. Don't remove the gear cost removal. Don't remove it. Anyway, we're here to talk about the legendary champion. Now, when his kit was first unveiled to us, right? My first take was, dude, you put him in the wrong faction, Plarium. Like, who is balancing these factions? Who in the world thought that Sacred Order needed another reviver? That all being said, though, his kit it's not S tier. I don't think it's even A tier. But it's not F tier and it's not D tier either. To me, I think I gave him a C plus, B minus. It depends on where you are. There's a lot of good about this champion, which I want to talk about in today's video. I'm not going to show a ton of gameplay, probably none in today's video, because there's a lot to talk about in terms of like 5 to 10 viable builds. There's a lot of ways to build this champion, and he's fairly easy to build. Speed, HP. Right? Like, those are our two main stat concerns. Of course, there are other, like, ancillary, stats that we want too. But mainly, no matter what the build is, speed and HP on this guy, right? The cool thing is, I could probably think of 15 ways to build them, and we'll touch on all of those, and I'll give you my top 5 in today's video. So yeah, overall, he's not a trash champion, right? Really quickly, you guys are all familiar with his kit, but I'll go through it quickly. Sensor Whirl, his A1, it's an AoE, heals based on his max HP. So this doesn't do a lot of damage. It's an attack-based ability, so we're not building him in any of these builds for damage, okay? The books suck on this one, 4 books for damage, but the good news is the books all go towards cooldowns on his A2, his A3, and his passive, so that is great. So the books are not that bad on this champion. AoE heal, cool. It's based on his max HP, so we can obviously jack that up for a better heal off the A1. On the A2, Incense of Inspiration, we get Strengthen big version, Increase Attack big version, and a turn meter fill by 15%, all on a 3-turn cooldown. It's not a bad ability, right? 15% turn meter fill with those 2 buffs, fantastic. On the A3, Revival Mandate. It's a single target revive on a 4-turn cooldown when booked. 50% HP, 50% turn meter, solid. Increase attack 1 turn, okay. And then activates the revived ally's default skill, targeting the enemy with the lowest HP, which is really cool. I like that. If you get the kill, it triggers his passive. Sentence to Life. If you get the kill off of that attack on the enemy with lowest HP, it's going to reset the cooldown of the Revival Mandate, of his revive, which again is pretty nice, right? It's not a game changer, but it's nice to have. He has Aura 25% in speed, 25% speed in arena battles. Listen, he's not much of an arena champion, certainly not for endgame, that's for sure. But if you're lacking a turn meter booster, if you don't have your Arbiter yet, you could use them in your best speed gear, I guess. Get that 15% turn meter fill, and the nice thing is, sure, you get the turn meter fill, but you also set up your attack-based nukers and add some survivability to everyone on the team. You put it all together, again, eventually you're going to get your Arbiters, you're going to get your Mithralas, you're going to get other options that are probably going to be better than Iudex Artor. But even in the end game, certainly you can throw them in a stun set and bring them out of the vault, or even use them in the vault, right, in Curse City, and control and revive some waves. So listen, free is free at the end of the day, but we said this in yesterday's video too. The tricky thing is when you get a champion in this game, it's only the beginning of the journey, right? You still got to book them, you still got to level them, you still got to use energy and silver, and you need masteries, you need blessings, you need to think about relics. There's a lot that goes in addition, more cost, in other words, right? Whether you're free to play or not, there's still more cost, either time or money, required to actually get the most out of a champion, right? So anyway, another good thing about this dude is, as I already mentioned, man, there's a billion ways to build this dude, right? There really is, depending on what you need on your account. There's no right or wrong, and honestly, there's no overall best build applied to everywhere in the game. So what I want to do is give you like 10 builds to think about, and I'll kind of mention who I think would benefit the most from each build. Stat priorities, again, are going to be the same, so we don't need to say it every time. HP and speed, right? Having some defense is nice. You could go with maybe an unorthodox higher resist build as well, but really speed and HP are going to be your stat priorities on this guy. So in every build, we're going to have HP percentage on the chest. In every build, we're going to have speed on the boots too, okay? And probably HP percentage on the gauntlets. It's not the end of the world to go defense percentage, but in terms of the survivability stats, we want to err on the side of HP over defense, but we don't want to totally neglect defense at the same time. So I have him here in a shield set. Shield and bolster. Sure, why not, right? Especially when you're progressing and you're getting to those challenging stages that you're wiping or whatever, it's really nice to have a shield or a bolster set on your team. Given that we want to build him with a lot of HP anyway, and 20k base HP isn't bad, certainly, so we can scale that pretty well. So a shield set is certainly going to be totally viable for your team for progression on this champion, right? The thing about shield set, though, is it's only going to last 3 turns, and then after that, you know, the set's going to be pretty useless until you get to the next round, right? So think about where you are. For me, shield is more of a progression option or a bolster or a shield set maybe in the arena if he's not going to be your speed booster if you're kind of early to mid game, okay? So I have all these builds and I titled them build 1, build 2, build 3, build 4. That way you can't just screenshot and leave me. So build 1, we're going to start with end game. Don't worry, I have an early game option too. The nice thing is I can just equip this gear because we have free gear removal. Don't make it end. Don't make it end, Plarium. All right, Rebirth. Yeah, it's the new set. It's hard to get. I get it. We won't spend a lot of time talking about it, but it's probably one of my favorite builds for this champion. Rebirth, I actually think that 6-piece Rebirth is a great set. 9-piece Rebirth, not a huge fan of. I think it tails off a little bit with a decrease the cooldown by 1 turn. To me, that's not worth it for 9 pieces. But 6-piece for PvE especially, not bad at all, right? We get speed 20%. We get this 4-piece bonus will bump his revive to 60 and 60. 60% HP, 60% turn meter. That's pretty solid. And then the 6-piece plays a block damage buff on the wearer when an ally is killed by an enemy, right? You could consider Swift Parry, kind of for the same reason, unkillable, 50% chance on a 4-piece. You get some speed there as well. We don't really need the crit damage, but Rebirth is solid for this champion. I also threw him in a 3-piece protection. I'm not going to show you a protection set, but protection would get an honorable mention from me in today's video. A 9-piece protection, you know, he has 2 buffs on his A2. That's 10% extra damage, and they can't be removed. It's not my top 5 protection, a full protection, but don't sleep on the 3-piece protection, right? Getting that 12% speed. Moreover, don't sleep on even a 2-piece Rebirth. Getting 10% speed is the same as a 2-piece pinpoint in terms of the speed. You get resistance instead of accuracy on the 2-piece Rebirth. So Rebirth is hard to get, but boy, you can see why having that unkillable, having the extra HP and turn meter, and the stats is actually really solid on this dude, right? So that would be more of an endgame build if you have the gear. Not a lot of people have a lot of that gear right now, especially good Rebirth gear, but eventually in a few months, we'll start to collect a few pieces if you're playing your live arena. All right, this is an early game. And actually, it's not an early game. My bad. Oh, come on, man. Come on. I got to make room. I got to make room. Be right back. Okay, this one might be my favorite. It's my Rector draft build, right? This is one of my favorite builds for revivers. And don't worry, I'm going to show you 3 different ways to build masteries in just a moment. I want to go through the builds really quickly. First, we'll talk about which build is best, right? So this is better for longer battles. Reflex and Impulse. Why longer battles, like maybe a Hydra or Chimera? Battles that you have a chance for it to actually proc a lot, right? We get a 40% chance to reduce a random skill cooldown by 1 turn. Now, Iudex Artor only really has 1 skill that's constantly going to be off cooldown or on cooldown because his revive is only going to be there if we need to revive a dead ally. Moreover, it's going to be reset sometimes by the passive anyway, so the reflex will go right to the A2, thus more turn meter fill, more increased attack and more strengthen on our allies, right? So I love the idea of going with Reflex. Now, Impulse is a bonus. It's hard to get, but Reflex plus Impulse gives us a 52% chance to reduce a random skill cooldown by 1 turn. So more often than not, we're going to get back to that A2 a lot sooner and keep that strengthen and increase attack up basically all the time, right? Unless it's removed on our allies. Get that 100% uptime on those buffs. Fantastic. I love this build. Okay, next we have early game build, right? Okay, next up we have early game build. Sorry, I keep having to make room with my artifact storage. Damn it. All right, you may notice, by the way, I still have 2 protection down here and 1 rebirth. Really, generally, we want HP as a main stat on the ring. I only had a defense on the rebirth ring. We want HP as a main stat on the amulet, and we want HP as a main stat on the banner as well. You don't have to go protection or rebirth, but getting that extra speed for a 2-piece rebirth, if you have it, is fantastic, or a 3-piece protection. If you're going to use him in the arena and you're not going to put stone skin on him, you really want to go reaction. Maybe double, maybe triple reaction if you have it on the accessories. That's for arena only, though. Okay, so early game build. Early game build, we just want to focus on what I mentioned earlier, right? And that is going to be, believe it or not, this is the worst gear on my account that I have for speed and immortal. I think some combination of speed sets in immortal sets, right? Or even life sets. You know, basically, we want to go in the very early game. If you're just starting out and you're getting your hands on this champion, honestly, you don't have to worry that much about sets at all. We just want speed and HP. Use whatever gear you have in the early game, right? Eventually, if you're kind of early to mid, you want to try to get them into some speed sets. Immortal sets are great because you get more HP and a little bit of healage as well. So it's a consideration in the early. I just kind of, I made this build. Probably didn't have to, but want to really emphasize the stat priorities, essentially, right? So again, as much HP as we can for those heals and survivability, as well as the speed, right? He's a reviver. We want him fast. Come in, keep buffing everybody, turn meter filling everybody, and reviving everybody when we need it. All right, next build is going to be Hydra specific, and this is going to be a curse set, right? Now, this is not going to be every Hydra battle. If you already have a Hex champion on your team for Hydra, well, of course, you want to go with a Reflex set, right? That would be my favorite personally, right? But Cursed is great on him because of the AoE on the A1, right? He can actually be a very dependable Hex applier vis-a-vis the 50% chance to place Hex. The nice thing about this is, keep in mind, there's no need for accuracy on Iudex Artor, but accuracy is not required from any artifact set. So Hex is going to be great for, or excuse me, Cursed is going to be great for him, and I threw on an Immortal set there for a little bit extra HP as well. Again, you can see the stats here. They're fairly similar. Keep in mind, I do have my Faction Guardians, my affinity bonuses here on my end stats when I show you those as well. So that's a great consideration for Hydra clan boss. A Curse set. Hell yeah. All right, next build. Be right back. Yeah, that's right, guys. Build number 5 is going to be the good old stun set. You know, this is obvious. It's intuitive. An AoE on the A1. This is going to be the set that I'll probably keep him in, right? Because I'm going to be using him for wave control in Curse City floors, right? So nice and simple stun set. I will have a stun set specific mastery recommendation for you guys. So let's just go ahead and do that now. Let's work on our masteries and let's start with the stun set. Before we do, so I've given you Rebirth, Reflex, right? Then we have the Shield / Bolster. We have the Stun set. We have the Curse set, right? Those are my, like, 5 or 6-ish, maybe 7 or 8. I kind of reverse clickbaited you and I said there was 5 builds and I'm giving you like 10, but hopefully you understand where to kind of use them all. If you had to only choose one, I would go with probably just Reflex, right? I mean, it's going to help you pretty much everywhere. I will give you one more. I lied. If you do want to use him in the arena, the very best arena build for him, in my opinion, right? I'm not even going to show you on him because I keep running out of artifact space. But you guys know my favorite build for Reviver, for these type of champion, right, in the arena. I think the best is going to be how I have Star Sage Galathyr built, and that is going to be in Stone Skin and in Relentless, or All Out Speed, right? But either way, we'd love to get Stone Skin on him for some protection. If he's going to be your speed booster in the early game, just put your best speed gear on your account on him. If you're kind of mid-game and you want to test him out in the arena, I would go with Stone Skin and Relentless, Stone Skin and double speed, probably, you know, a more easier build to actually pull off as well, depending on the gear on your account. So a quick shout out to his PvP build. If you want to use him in the arena as maybe a turn meter booster slash, you know, whatever, reviver guy. Okay, there we go. All right. So let's talk about masteries here, guys. Do I have the gems? I do have the gems. So let's do a few masteries together. Let's start with that stun set. What do you say? So stun set, I'm going to go defense. Because I want blast proof. I like, for PvE, I like going decreased damage received from AoE attacks over the critical improved parry. That would be an arena choice. So usually in an arena, I'll start out Defiant and I'll go improved parry. But I love going tough skin and blast proof because it allows us to go with Resurgent, one of the best masteries in the game. 50% chance to remove a random debuff from this champion when it loses 25% of his max HP from a single enemy skill. So it could be like a triple hitter, like a Marius or something, right? And if he's stunned, it has a 50% chance to maybe remove that, right? So Resurgence is very, very good. I'm going to go into Delay Death, and we're going to go with Retribution. Retribution and Deterrence are very good on this champion because counterattacking when he's in a stun set gives us another shot at stunning. It's going to be a 23% chance to stun from the stun set because we're picking up Fearsome Presence. That's going to take that stun shot from the artifact set from an 18 to a 23%. So we obviously want to pick up, whenever we pick up Fearsome Presence, because they have an AoE on the A1, we want to land the stun, we want to pick up Retribution, we want to pick up Deterrence, and we want to pick up Harvest Despair. This is going to have a 60% chance of placing a leech when we place the stun from the stun set, okay? So this, for me, in terms of stun, any stun build, I really usually want to pick up at least these three, and usually all four of those masteries right there, right? Now, he has a pretty decent heal, so we're going to go with Steadfast, get more HP. We don't need the accuracy. We're going to go Lay on Hands. We're going to go Healing Savior. We're going to go Merciful Aid. And we're going to go Lasting Gifts to extend the buff duration on his A2 ability, right? So this is going to be the stun build. I'm going to finish things off with Rapid Response, and we're probably going to go with, we'll go with one more quick honorable mention. I think it's totally fine not to go Deterrence and to go Cycle of Revenge instead, given the fact that he is a reviver, okay? So you can make that consideration for yourselves. We're going to go Rejuvenation. Okay, so this is my stun set build for Iudex Artor. Really love it, really love it. All right, let's reset for free. Let's go with the tanky reviver build, right? Like, meaning we are progressing in the game. We can sacrifice a little bit of damage. We want to go all out and just supporting and keeping our team alive at all costs, right? So again, max HP, Lay on Hands, Healing Savior, Rapid Response. We want to go with, we might go Lore of Steel. It depends on how you have them built, right? Lore of Steel is very good when you have those basic 15% or those, you know, those two-piece artifact stat boost sets. Did that come out right? I don't know. So let's just pretend we do. Let's go Lore of Steel, right? And we'll come down. We have no need for Sniper. We have no need for Master Hexer. It does nothing on him. We do have a big need for Lasting Gifts, so we'll definitely pick that up. And Timely Intervention. That's the way to go. Timely Intervention, super strong, as well as Spirit Haste. Increase speed by 8 for each dead ally. And you parlay that with Timely Intervention. Increases champion's turn meter by 20% whenever a hero's HP drops below 25%. And then we're going to go with Tough Skin again. We're going to go Blast Proof again. We're going to go Resurgent again. Delay Death again. We're going to come down with Cycle of Revenge. Even though we like Retribution for the heals and the counterattacks, Cycle of Revenge has a beautiful synergy with our Timely Intervention. So we want to pick them both up there, right? And again, we'll go with Rejuvenation as well. So this would be the all-out support reviver build, okay, for masteries. And then last but not least, come on, man. Come on, player. I'm just trying to show a couple builds here, man. We'll reset. Honestly, this is why they give us content creator perks, so I can't complain too much. This is going to be the overall build for him. Like, overall, use it anywhere type build, right? By the way, I would use the timely intervention one I just showed you for the arena if you chose to, use them in the arena. But just come down the left-hand side and end with War Master, right? This is going to be like a general PvP build. Nothing too crazy here. And then we're going to go down the support tree again. You could go defense if you wanted to. I would go with, Blast Proof down to Retribution again. But I think going with the Lay on Hands, the Healing Savior, and coming down to Lasting Gifts is probably going to be the best way to go. Rapid Response because of all those buffs. Cycle of Magic, sure, why not? Yeah, let's go Spirit Haste, and let's just go Heart of Glory. So this would be kind of an all-around build for him. Let's quickly talk blessings. Okay, guys, blessing time. So Miracle Heal, you could use. It's not my favorite out there, but you can restore a portion of destroyed max HP when he heals, which he does a decent amount on his A1. He's not going to be, by the way, like your number one healer on your account, but those heals do add up and they do help, especially in longer battles. He could be your intimidating presence champion, especially if you want to use him for his aura in the early game in the arena. If you only have him awakened one, like only 1-star awakening, I always say this, and I'm probably going to keep repeating it, but Lightning Cage is very good at awakened 1. It's a 50% chance to block, or protect, I should say, a random buff, and it's 1 lightning orb whenever an enemy receives a buff at 1 star. It's a really good 1-star blessing. But I'm sure the most popular option for this guy is going to be Cruelty, right? Whenever the champion hits an enemy, decreases their defense until the end of the round, and he has the AoE on the A1, so he doesn't need to do damage to take advantage of Cruelty. He just has that AoE, which he's going to be using a lot. So Cruelty is actually a really good option on this dude. So I would go Cruelty if I had him awakened, which I don't. Relics, we really want to go with a relic with HP as the main stat. Like, that's the first thing that I would focus on. Journal of Necrotos is really good. It's like a really good rare relic on a lot of champions. He has heals and he has turn meter boosts. This is going to boost both of them. So I think that Journal of Necrotos, keep an eye out for it. That's the best, that's the blessed relic that's like somewhat actually achievable to get on your account, right? So Journal of Necrotos was kind of made for this guy. Heals and turn meter increase effects applied to allies are boosted by 15%, and you can get it boosted, by 3% increments every level. So there it is, guys. Those are, my top 15 freaking builds. We can even give a shout to like curing sets, regeneration sets. There's a lot of options. Stat priorities remain the same. I hope you walked away from this video with a little bit more inspiration on how to use this dude than you did when you started the video. That's always the goal here, right? Let me know what you think of Iudex Artor in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and as always, take care, guys.